long before Frodo and the Fellowship, in the cold heart of the Misty Mountains, the ring found a keeper in the most unlikely of heroes.
Go save the others, Bilbo!
Wait for me!
We first sat down to come up with the look of The Hobbit. We really wanted to do this storybook come to life thing.
Oh, what does it got in its nasty little pockets?
The Hobbit is certainly one of the beloved Tolkien products that, you know, all of us fans have read since childhood and have loved and have very specific images in our mind. What that looks like, sounds like, feels like.
How can we bring Bilbo to the market in a way that would fit for the modern audience?
Here, Bomba, try this.
He's not driving straight down a thorn. He is going to have to fight his way through a bunch of stuff.
We did something yesterday where it's cold and it's rainy, so I was, I have a little bit of shiver in the voice. Like that. My goodness, it's cold.
We wanted environments where when you walk in, you would really want to explore everything. You wanted something that would have people running around with the character of Bilbo. What can I do with Bilbo in these fantastic environments?
One of the most challenging things to do for a game like this is to come up with that sound, that particular sound that hopefully is a signature sound related to that game. Some of the levels might be a little more edgy, a little scarier. Once Bilbo starts getting into his adventures, things start getting a little more dark. The music can build up that way, and then you win or you don't win. You gotta try it again.
For fans of the book, I want them to be able to come away from it thinking that we did the book justice. For people who haven't read the book, I want them to feel like they've enjoyed a very interesting storyline and go out and read the book.
Coming up with a game that is true to the literary work, that is also a fun game to play.
About time you arrived, Mr. Baggins. Let the journey begin.
You know, the story of The Hobbit is very immersive, and it goes into incredible detail regarding the environment.
I had read the books, and I personally knew what Hobbiton looked like. I knew what Smaug's Lair looked like from talking to all the other people just on the design team. Everyone else knew in their own minds what Smaug's Lair looked like and what Hobbiton looked like, and they weren't the same.
The style of the game really started from prototypes that we did with the environment. We are incorporating a lot of the detail that is described in the books. So we created artwork that seemed to come alive from some initial sketches, and you would fly in and it would become 3D.
We're in the level editor right now, where the designers can place instances and test out the gameplay. This is kind of what it looks like with everything up and running. You can see the minecart going past. You can see all the instances and elevators and stuff running. One interesting thing that we have in here, the textures that we did in this area, we had the option of hand painting our light maps so that everything looks like it has a sort of theatrical feel to it. And it looks like there's a nice rounded surface there. But if I pause things, you can see that really there isn't a whole lot of geometry right there.
Swordlight is a personal favorite because people that have read the book know the tale about how Bilbo gets separated from the dwarves and then he goes in these goblin caves before he runs into Gollum. Danger is what I remember specifically, is Bilbo going in these dark areas. And the way that's been brought to life with waterfalls, with powered mechanisms, is pretty cool.
Something that's pretty funny about video games is you always have to find a way to get characters from one place to another. Of course, Bilbo walked most of the way from the Shire to the Misty Mountains, but walking's not good gameplay. So one of the things that Bilbo's doing all the way through is he's platforming, which is very satisfying gameplay. For some reason, in our version of Tolkien's Middle-earth, there are lots of moving logs, ladders to climb. That's one example of a way in which you kind of have to gameplayize literary conventions to make sure that it's good times when you play.
We had to make sure that we didn't go off and do anything that was just pure gameplay outright, but just did not fit Middle-earth at all.
You can't go and just find a flower and attack it. Nature, must be held in high regard.
What we attempted to do was to create a compelling design around a compelling character, Bilbo, and immerse the player into that world. The overall elements of game design are really simple. Define what you're going to do, test it, redefine it, lock on it, and move forward with it. And in the end, you will create something that is awesome.
Is it scrumptious?
Fight, goblins! Fight!
This is a huge game. There are 86 characters in the game.
It was a storybook come to life.
You can't help but be drawn into it.
I think dragons are some of the most exciting things you can do in a game, and Smaug is the granddaddy of all dragons.
He's the most technically challenging character we've ever worked on because he's so sophisticated. We had to come up with some special stuff just for him to get his wings to bend in a certain way.
I think we've got not only a great design for Smaug, but a great play mechanic. Smaug is initially sleeping. You have got to get in there and take a certain item. We have you getting very close to the sleeping dragon, trying to steal things from him, yet not wake him up. But we try to not make it so easy, so there are various things like stacks of gold and treasure that are kind of teetering.
The trolls were also memorable just because they're so funny.
And I say we squash the dwarves and boil them!
They were one of the earlier characters that we did as well.
Mutton yesterday, mutton today, and blimey, it don't look like mutton again tomorrow.
The AI, the artificial intelligence, is all the creatures in the game and what brings the game world itself to life. You can walk around, see the trees swaying and everything, but until something jumps out and tries to eat you, it's kind of an empty place. Here's our editor with a small test map that we've placed as many creatures as we could possibly stick in here. Goblins and spiders, bats. We've set this up as a little battle test to put down many creatures all fighting against each other. The spiders have brought themselves into the middle into a little defensive barrier. The leapers are cowardly and they tend to back up when something is facing them. The bats are circling around and swooping in to do their attacks, and the goblins just run in swords ablazing.
There are 86 characters. There are 29 actors portraying all of those 86 characters. We took Dr. Tolkien's works as our guide and what his intentions were with all these characters. And that was most important to us.
My precious.
It's always really helpful to have what the producers have in mind as far as what the character looks like. And that way you can sort of, base your performance on some type of physicality.
Friends, we're saved!
I love doing British accents too, makes it a lot easier.
Dread has come upon you all. English, you have fun with the vowels and you sing it. The goblins of the north are coming. Behold, they ride upon wargs.
We have a payoff level, which is the climactic level of the book, and there's just so much action. It's very visceral, very exciting, and it's one of those things where every element of the game has been cranked up to the max. I think most games are supposed to, kind of move up into a crescendo, and I think the final level really pays off in this game.
How does the music unfold? How did the score get put together for something like this? How is the world of Middle-earth brought together?
I I make sounds.
Wolves! One was bad enough.
My strong point is sound design. That's my main creative effort.
Thieves! Fire! Murder!
There's three main parts. There's dialogue, sound effects, and music. And each one of those has subcategory. Not only am I creating content for the audio of the game, I'm also basically managing all of the audio content and how it gets implemented, and working with programmers and designers and artists to make sure that we're getting all the parts together we need to make the audio work. We've contracted out a group to do the orchestral and the acoustic music. How that music fits with Middle-earth, the instrumentation of it, the style of it, to make sure that it really, when you hear it, it says, that's Middle-earth to me.
We knew that the music had to reflect Middle-earth, and the music of Middle-earth is really Celtic style, which is sort of an Irish style with traditional Irish instruments. So we wanted to build a music around that feel. When we started our main theme, we wanted to start it out with traditional Celtic instruments like a boron drum and recorder and bouzouki and uilleann pipe and things like that that are all native to Celtic instruments. And we just built the orchestration around the Celtic feeling that we had created with our Celtic instruments, and that was the crux of the whole thing. We wanted to keep it in that Celtic flavor and build the orchestra around it. The cool thing about the music in the game is that it really does fit every piece of gameplay. We worked really hard to find out how the gameplay was going to work for that particular scene.
Some of the levels might be a little more edgy, a little more chromatic, a little more dissonant, a little scarier because of the creatures that they're coming up against. And others, like at the beginning of the game, we've got this wonderful Hobbit melody, and it's very Hobbit-esque.
The most challenging thing is keeping the game true to something that Tolkien would have liked, and keeping the music true to Bilbo and the characters.
I do hope I put the lids on tight.
Because of the Middle-earthness and the fact that we're an American developer, there's a lot of English accents needed to pull off the Middle-earth style.
Shut your mouth!
Doing British accents too makes it a lot easier. American accented English is so limiting. You know, you have fun with the vowels and you sing it and it's all over the place.
Dread has come upon you all. The goblins of the north are coming.
One of our designers, Brandon, who wrote the majority of the script, he'll be there at the recording sessions to make sure that the game design is getting the dialogue it needs to make sure the gameplay is correct and the players being told to do the right things.
Makes a big double fist and smacks the floor with it.
Oh, what has it got in its nasty little pockets?
We're making a game, it's not a book. And so we have to do things that are fun for the game player, but at the same time incorporate what they expect to see and hear from the book.
It's creating a tapestry and creating that Tolkien world that you can go into and feel like you're a part of. But it is a tremendous challenge. It's much more than is usually done in a video game.
Rated E for everyone.